Hello and welcome to Things from the Flood. This is the third of four sessions of this game from Free League Publishing. Ordinarily, I would hold up the book now, but Canada has gotten their copies of this, but not the US for this Kickstarter. But this is a game that is kind of a sequel to Things from the Flood about an alternate 1990s. We have our teens. They live in the area around Wayward, Ohio, is our particular setting where the particle accelerator, the loop, has collapsed. That has kind of suffered a catastrophic crash, and there are great swaths of area that are cut off. There's been contamination, AIs going bonkers, machine cancer, all this stuff. Everything is kind of under a pall in some ways, and we're kind of leaning into that a little bit tonight. Our group has been investigating the essentially at the start the vanishing of a DJ, and that led to finding a disc that the DJ had with a set of weird noises, set of weird signals that seemed to cause the machine cancer. The group kind of got in trouble as a result of that when the cops were called later on. But primarily last week, our group was looking into what was going on with DJ Rust. Where he had gotten this disc. You'd gotten some names, and you were looking into those things. Particularly, I believe one of the goals had been to talk to DJ Rust's girlfriend. And you'd also heard about this strange group of people who'd been asking around about the local DJ scene that seemed to be some sort of religious group in the area called the Waiters. And in fact, you believe that it may be one of them who is currently in the van that is slowly pacing this horrible car that Kara is driving. And that is where we're taking up this evening. Who's in the passenger seat in the front?
I think Tina probably would have called shotgun because she's
Okay.
besties with Kara.
All right. So what are you telling Kara to do? She's kind of driving cautiously. It is after dark. She's trying to drive carefully. She's picked you three up after the whole police incident. And you've got this van on your tail. What do you think you're going to tell her to do or say to her or ask the group, Tina?
I think this is something that Sandra probably has more experience with than me in terms of getting rid of a tail and maybe having a better idea of where to start. So I'm going to turn to her and say, what do we do?
So Sandra, whenever you turn to her, she's already kind of flat against the bottom of the seat, so you can't see her through the windows. She says, "Get down, get down." And she tells Kara in the front, she's like, just be cool, just keep driving. And maybe they won't follow us. Head towards the police station.
But okay. And she will start driving that way. And the van kind of follows. But once you kind of get into an area around the police station, this is the police station that has a fire station right next to it, but it's kind of right in the middle of commercial. The van follows for a bit and then takes a turn off. Like it clearly doesn't want to get spotted around here. And Kara will like drive into the drive-through at Rax and kind of use that as additional camouflage. And she's like, "Okay, I think they're gone. Where should we go?"
So I think Kara gets up and Sandra gets up and she kind of steps out of the car, grabs her backpack, and she says, "Well, like, know who you are. I don't know if they know who we are. It's not good. Suggestions?"
Well, we could always go talk to Rust's girlfriend. I mean, she might have an idea of what's going on.
What if they're watching her too?
I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
it's worth a chance then.
they could be watching anybody. I mean, they could have people sitting at, Lawrence's house. I mean, we can do nothing, which gets us nowhere. We can do something, which might get us in trouble. But at least it's something, and that's better than nothing, I guess.
That makes sense.
Lawrence, what do you think?
Lawrence is just internally running through his head all the other options, but which there are not many. We didn't really identify any sort of like publication or anything like that we could take stuff to, did we? There was nothing like that we from the last session at all. So
No, I think your concern was putting this disc in the hands of other people was dangerous, and that the story itself was far-fetched.
Yes, indeed. We wouldn't be believed even if they took it off their hands. Yeah, let's just go. I think our best option, despite the risks, is the girlfriend. So Lawrence will say, let's just go. I don't care where we go. Let's get moving. We can't. I don't want to stay here. And he's pulled up into his hoodie, and he's just sort of, he's super tense and not comfortable with anything that's gone on in the last 24 hours.
Sandra, do you get back in the car?
I think, Sandra obviously is looking towards the Rexes and okay. And she kind of gets back in the car and, looks around real carefully, up and down the street to make sure there's, no van there. And then gets back in the car and says, just go on main streets. They seem to be avoiding that.
And Kara said, where are we going?
And Sandra turns to look at Tina.
I guess we're going to go talk to Rust's girlfriend.
And where did we say Rust's girlfriend worked at?
Magazine distributorship, wasn't it?
That's right.
Something like that. Yeah.
She goes, okay, yeah. I think I know where that is. It's a little bit outside of town, but I can head there. And she will drive. This car handles pretty well, but but you can tell that the Kara is nervous. She hasn't driven a lot. So she's definitely a little more fits and starts. You're very glad that it's an automatic transmission and not a manual transmission vehicle as she drives along. And eventually you'll get to a part of town that is that strip that runs sort of between here and North Corner. If you continue on a ways, there's the Science City Mall. But this is kind of the no man's land between the two towns of little strip malls and things that have kind of, come and gone. And they've got like a furniture place that has changed names several times. And there's a freestanding Payless shoes and all of these weird shops. Maybe they used to be named businesses, and now those chains have closed and people have started up antique stores and things. And there's like third tier fast food restaurants out here. Like there's a place called Penguin Point that is here. that what you know is that they do like fried fish sandwiches, and they're not very good. But she'll pull into the parking lot of the distributors. How do you guys want to play this?
What does it look like? Are there a lot of people around?
It looks like they've probably got an evening staff of people. You guess probably a few teens and maybe a couple others that essentially they're sorting and bundling and stuff. You can see that, there's a loading dock where things come in. There is a door, and you can certainly go in and try to talk to an adult to get in. That would be a contact roll.
Okay. I'm gonna get out of the car and go see if I can find somebody who looks like they're a supervisor to ask if Natasha's working tonight.
Sure. Let's have you make that contact roll.
All righty.
Let's see, find our.
So I think Sandra's going to get out of the car and have Lawrence, motion her to Lawrence to come with her. And they're going to head over where like the workers are. Keep Tina in sight, but that way it's just one kid approaching the adult, not 3 hoodlums.
Yeah, there's probably. I mean, outside here, there's maybe a guy leaning against the wall taking a smoke break. But that's probably who you see outside here.
Nice. I'm going to go bum a cigarette from him.
Okay. So what did you get with your contact roll, Tina?
I am still making sure everything's set up, and I've got
Sure.
6 dice. Okay. Got a 6.
Got a 6. So this older guy, he has the look of somebody who's done this way too many years. Kind of sitting on this metal stool behind a desk just as you come in, and he looks like irritated, but you also have the sense that people stop in to talk with their buddies here from time to time, and so he will lean over and he presses this button, and he says, "Natasha to the front, Natasha to the front," and he goes back to reading his girly magazine. And after a couple of minutes, this, you guess, maybe 18-year-old, you've probably seen her at some of the raves. She looks of Indian descent. The sort of skin coloration that's a little out of place here in the Midwest. There isn't a large Indian community here in the city, but she has hair that goes down all the way down her back, her long, straight, flowing black hair, has a nose ring, and she looks at you and she's like, What's going on?
So she's actually up front now.
Yeah.
Okay. Say, Natasha, can we talk?
She's like, do I know you?
It's about Rust.
And she'll kind of stop and she's like, okay. And she turns to the guy. She says, "Freddie, I'm going to be just a minute. I'll be back." He says, "Well, that's your break." And she's like, "Okay, let's go outside." So you two will step outside. Let me come to Sandra and Lawrence as you approach this guy. Yeah, he'll bum a cigarette to you.
Right. And I think, so basically I just sit there and I kind of smoke a little bit, say, "What's up?"
Not much. You waiting for friends to get off shift?
Yeah, waiting for somebody. It's really my friend's call, so we'll see. So,
Cool. It's about 45 minutes till shift end, though. I should tell you that.
okay. So, you seen that? You seen that girl over there? And I kind of motioned towards Natasha.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, she okay?
She's heavy into her boyfriend and stuff. So, I got the brush off day one.
Yeah, I know what that's
He's
like.
he's like 25, slightly creepy.
Ah,
How you doing?
I think Sandra.
Lawrence just,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Lawrence just cuts him a look like, dude.
And I think Sandra kind of stops for a second and then smiles real big and says, "Do you party?"
He goes, yeah, I parties from time to time.
Yeah. You're looking to score?
I said, no. I'm not into that scene, but maybe, hang out. I get a couple of bottles of JD.
Oh, well, let me know whenever you step up to the big time, and maybe we can hang out. So,
Lawrence, you see her shut this creep down, and he visibly winces. But because you're there, he doesn't like get angry. Like he doesn't come back at her. He just kind of stands and looks and nods. So Natasha says, what do you know about where Terry is?
You mean Rust?
Yes, Rust.
Okay. Well, listen. There's a lot of really weird shit that's been happening. And it's going to sound really, really, really strange. But have you heard of this group called the Waiters?
She's like, they're like some Christian group, aren't they?
I don't know what they are. I heard that they were like some kind of church thing, but they've got those white vans.
Uh-huh.
Me and my friend saw one of those white vans snatch up Pumpkin. Like a couple of guys got out of the van, grabbed him off the street, literally threw him in the van and took off.
She says, oh shit.
And he dropped some stuff, and there was a CD that he dropped.
That fucking CD fucking told him. And there's the 2 F-bombs you get for the episode. She goes, Terry got that from this weird guy, and he was using part of it in the act and stuff, but it was like weird stuff happened when he was using it.
We put it in a CD player, and it gave a bunch of stuff around it machine cancer almost instantly.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, that's what is it?
I don't know what it is. I don't know. I told him to throw that thing away. I told him to stay away from Mazeros and not have anything to do with him.
Who's Mazeros?
And she kind of pauses and she goes, so Mazeros is a few years older than us. And he dropped out, and he kind of drives around doing things.
What kind of things?
I don't know. I know he knows Biker Bob. I know he hangs out with some of that crowd, but he's weird. Like, he looks like he's at a taxi driver. Big guy, big old army surplus jacket, shaved his head with a straight mohawk down it. But anyway, he gave Rust that disc. Like, because he's like, I don't know where he got it. But when the show broke up, I grabbed some of the stuff, but Pumpkin grabbed like the main stuff, and me and Barry Pierce just grabbed what we could, that was around. And I've been trying to call Barry the last couple of days, and he's not around.
Like, are people saying, is he just not answering? Are people answering and saying, oh, yeah, he's at work, or what?
I don't know. His parents don't like me, so I didn't press it.
So Barry's gone too?
I don't know if he's gone or if he's out doing something or what.
This is... Well, where do we find this Mazzeros guy? He might know something.
And let me ask you this, Sandra, Lawrence, are you drifting over to where this convo is going on?
Yeah, I think by now I've finished the cigarette and I kind of put it out there on the ground. There's like a little puddle of them, and we kind of, I kind of, motioned to Lawrence, let's walk over here.
She says, so this guy stays up all night. He sleeps during the day, Mazzeros. He hangs out with some teens and stuff, but drifts around. His dad has a chiropractic clinic out by the highway, and owns like a little house next to that. And Mazzeros stays there most of the time.
You know anything else, like anything at all that might be useful?
He does. He's like a big conspiracy nut. Has all kinds of ideas about what went down at Zabo Labs and what happened in the loop. And he knew some of those guys that got in through one of the lock gates down in there. And he's this whole place, he's just weird.
So he knows people who went in after
That's what
the
he
flood.
said. I don't know if that's true or not. A lot of people
Maybe
say
that. Maybe that's where the CD came from.
I don't know.
Look, if we need to, can we call you? I mean,
No, I don't want to get involved with this. Not if people are going missing.
he's your boyfriend. You don't want to try to help him?
Look, I don't know. Those guys in black grabbed him up. And that is the last thing I want to get involved with. And look,
You don't-
she says, my break's over.
You don't even... He's your boyfriend.
Yeah. There's more where that came from. And she turns to go in.
And I think as she's kind of hightailing it away, that's whenever Lawrence and I walk up. So we kind of look at her as she kind of scoots fast into the inside.
Is it? I mean, it's obvious that she's either scared or hiding something. In fact, that's probably both true, to be honest. So I don't know if there's much else there.
Do you want to try and roll empathize?
Sure.
That's the people reading skill.
Well, I will spend some of the XP that we have and knock it up to 3
Ooh.
to make 8 dice.
Is that something I can help with since I also have a point in empathize?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. So I'm rolling 9.
Yeah. There's almost no chance you could fail.
You say that all the time.
I do.
Oh, that's no chance. 0. Okay. Can I push it and take a condition?
Yeah. So you've got two things you can do. You could activate your shame if you think that plays into this and
Sure.
get an automatic success, or you can mark a condition and reroll.
The shame is an automatic success. I think I'll keep that one for now. Instead, I will take one of these conditions. I think it's going to be thirsty.
Yeah, like you've been going here, nervous. I mean, maybe you grab something to eat, but you haven't had a chance to really drink, and you're kind of exhausted.
Yeah.
You
1 6. 18 dice.
Yes. I had a friend when we played Mutant Year Zero who was a gearhead who reliably could get 12 or 13 dice and get 1 success or less. And it was bad. So you have the sense that, and this is just maybe like as you've kind of come up and we're listening a little bit before she walked away, that when Tina mentioned that white van thing, like that kind of spooked her. Like before she was a little like, whatever, I'm going to be cool. Like she's clearly seen a white van around, clearly noticed it. And she is probably going in there right now to, call her parents to come and pick her up.
How old is Natasha? Like, how old are,
18.
Rush and all these people?
18. Yeah.
Right.
And probably probably not something she wants to do. She probably considers herself pretty independent, and having to call her parents to come pick her up because she's scared is heavy. Does that seem like fair info?
Sure. The only other real question I would have is there anything else that we can glean from talking to her, or anything else to do here?
You think that you've kind of gotten what she knows about the situation from her?
Yeah, or at the very least, what she's prepared to tell us. Yeah.
Yeah. She's pretty much given you, besides the white van thing, probably what she knows.
Right. Sure. That seems fair.
Okay.
No worries.
And it is getting late. Kara's like, are we going to keep driving around, or should I drive you guys home?
Well, she said that Mazzeros guy's up all night. And what time is it? What you got to watch?
It's 9:30 now.
So, question: When were we sent by my parents to go get pizza?
Oh, I forgot that you went to go get pizza.
Oh,
yeah.
We already did that.
Yeah, that's right, because you ate the pizza.
Did we?
And
we did.
Yeah, and your folks are just like, it's really nice to meet you, Christine.
That's right. Whew.
Right.
Had me scared there for a second.
Yeah. Right.
They call the cops. No, you told your mom that you were walking Tina home, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sandra is as Sandra does.
And then Carl rolled up and was in the car. We
Yeah.
got in because of the van.
Car's like, it's a Friday night. I don't, I could probably stay out a while longer, but it's up to you guys.
I mean, we could just like break the CD and go home and try to get some sleep. I mean, if she doesn't care about Rust, why should any of us?
I think it's not that she doesn't care. It's that she's just scared. That's all.
And she's older than us, and she dates the guy. If she doesn't want to help out, why should any of us give a shit?
So here's the deal. We've already been clocked with the CD. We've already been clocked that the machine cancer is around us because of Lawrence's house. So those guys with the van are going to come after us.
And it doesn't really matter what we do, does it?
No, we break the CD. We don't break it. It's going to happen.
Fine. Let's go talk to Mazeros and see whatever he can say. See what he knows or can tell us, or if he can help.
So we do a wipe to Kara driving to another part of town, highway. There's an old style, pizzeria by there. There's a couple of like Ready Marts in the area, a few smaller businesses and things, and you will see this Mazeros chiropractic clinic, and you can see there's a sidewalk that goes past it, and there's a little house kind of set back, and you can see that there's lights on in the house, and you just hear.
Sounds like we're in the right place, at least.
And Kara's like, oh boy.
Tina, do you have a CD on you?
Probably. I mean, my pants are big enough. I usually carry some music with me.
So I asked to borrow, one of those CDs, just the CD, whenever we go in.
All right. Yeah. Here's the Movement CD that I've been listening to nonstop.
And you can go up to this place, and you hear people in there talking, and kind of smell the haze of pot in the air. Maybe hear the sound of bottles and drinking. And what do you knock on the door? Who's knocking?
I think I'm just going to try to open the door.
Okay. Yeah, it's not locked.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a party going on in here. So,
and you will walk in. There's this haze, and the music's on. You can see there's maybe a box with some pizza stuff, off to the side, and you will see that there are some chairs and couches around, and there's kind of a big table, and you see these people there, and it looks like they've got some maps and stuff on the table, and the guy who's closest to you, like sitting there, kind of turns around and is like, "Hey,
what's up?
not much."
Zeros here?
And he points over, and you see this guy. He's seated there. You can see he's got some papers he's looking through very intently, and he kind of looks up, and the guy who's kind of like at the head of the table goes, "Do you need to go and talk to them, Ray?" And he's like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, I'll hold my initiative. And he gets up, he puts down his papers, sets down some books, drops some dice on the table, kind of scoots around back, comes over where you guys are at. And he's like, hey.
So we kind of need to talk to you.
Look,
Like-
if it's about something I sold somebody,
No,
the stuff
no.
comes to me and I don't check the quality.
We need to talk to you, like maybe a little bit more privately about some stuff that's going on.
Sandra leans forward and says, Natasha sent us.
It kind of does this thing where it kind of like, okay, and he will walk you back into this filthy kitchen. Nothing has been washed here. The garbage can is overflowing, paper plates and stuff. There's bongs with dried up water in the sink. It's a horror show in here. And he's like, okay, what's up, man?
What's up with that CD?
What CD are you talking about?
Can I try a charm roll here?
Yeah.
All right. I figure I might as well just like try to.
A relatively attractive 16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
He's a few years older than you. You can easily work him if you want.
So I'd like to help.
Sure.
And the last thing he said, I think, was which CD, right?
Yeah.
And I
All
think the way that this works, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, I already rolled a 6. I can roll one more dice if you want to and see what that comes up.
Yeah.
All righty. Came up as a 2.
Okay. So he's being relatively open. He doesn't, not regarding you as strangers that just walked into his house. He's like, what CD are you talking about, man?
So Tina's going to kind of act a little bit flirty. Like, hey, tell me, what does this guy look like?
He looks like he might have been a fat kid who got taller. Still got a baby face paunch that he's grown up this big bushy beard to try and cover. He's got his head shaved except for this mohawk.
Okay.
And he's got this big army jacket that he clearly got at the army surplus store. You're pretty sure he's carrying a knife as well.
Knife in his belt and his boots.
Yeah, you kind of maybe catch a side of that he's got a belt thing with a knife on it.
Gotcha. Tall kid, short kid?
Like 6 foot.
Tina's going to reach up and touch his beard and say, I like your beard. It's really full.
Oh yeah. Yes, I've been working on it for a couple of years, man.
It works for you. It's kind of hot.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I like beards, so I got a little distracted here. Yeah, you gave Natasha said something about you giving Russ the CD or something.
Oh, she wasn't supposed to say anything about that.
Well, she didn't say really much of anything to us. She just we ran into her and we were like, hey, what's going on with Rust? Where is he? And she said, I don't know. I saw him with Mazzeros. And she said something about a CD.
No, I haven't seen him in a while. So sometimes I go out in
Yeah.
the county,
Yeah.
out by the VAC area. Some
Tina's still
old,
touching. She's touching his cheek now, not just his beard.
and he's like, look, there's some spots out there. They've got old broadcast towers that they still have hooked up, but they're not using.
Yeah.
And so I've got some stuff, and I go out there, and sometimes I'll do relays for some pirate radio.
Really?
And sometimes I run the bandwidth just to see what's going on, because there's all kinds of spies and, like agents around here. And
So like you're doing radio and you're like picking up spy stuff?
yeah, the thing is you got to keep your ears open, because there's all kinds of crap going down around here. I mean, why is the evacuation area so big? You go around the edges of it, it looks fine. Something going
You're
on there.
so are you kind of like a spy?
No,
Well, you probably could be. I mean, this is really brave stuff you're doing here. This is you're obviously really smart to figure all this stuff out.
it's like I picked up the signal from the tower out off of I-39, and I kind of realized where it was coming from.
Tina's touching his ears by this point, by the way. Like she's really getting.
He is actually getting a little upset. Like he's looking back in the other room now, like you think maybe his girlfriend's in the other room, and he's getting a little flustered. And he's like, look, it was about out by that church compound. It was the tower that was out by there. I think they must have been broadcasting it.
Church?
Yeah, that like compound out there.
What who are those guys? The servants or something? Or
The waiters.
yeah, they got those vans, right?
I don't know. Anyway, I pulled this weird number station thing that started and looped, and like they were broadcasting it out there, in the local area. I picked it up and I burned it. And when I played it, weird shit went down in the house.
Like what kind of weird shit?
Like things broke.
Broke.
Yeah, like broke. But then Russ came by, and he was talking about doing a new set, and I played him a little bit of this thing, and he was like, give it to me. I want to do something with it.
How'd you play it if it broke things? And how'd you
Didn't break
record it?
I had to put it on the computer.
So it didn't
But
break
you
the
just said
computer?
it broke stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm two people talking there. What did you say, Steven?
Oh, I said, and it didn't break the computer.
No. I lost the toaster oven, and the tape cassette player I had sitting around.
So, and you said it's the station out by the compound. So
There's a broadcast tower out just in the edge of the VAC area. The waiters are right there. They got their stuff, that's kind of land that they bought up that's right by it. And that's where the tower is.
So let me ask you this, Mazeros. If we find anything really interesting out there that we don't know what to do with or we don't know what it is, can we maybe ask you about it since you obviously know a lot about this stuff?
Yeah, I know about this stuff.
So, like, if we find something interesting, can we come back and see if you know anything about it? Or
Yeah, sure.
okay,
So I have a question for you. Do you know anything about the guys that took DJ Rust?
I only heard he got taken.
Yeah. Well, we think it was the waiters, and we want to know why the waiters aren't after you.
And he see him stop and pause, and he says, I think you three ought to go.
And Sandra says, well, maybe you should answer.
Tom, Lawrence is, as we've established, a good reader of people.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think I'm being assisted by
Well,
Tina's whole
yeah.
thing.
And I mean, even if I didn't have empathize, I think he'd be in a reasonably distracted state.
Sure. So give yourself a bonus die that will offset the -1 from thirsty.
Of course, yes. So really, I'm going to write 8. Cool. Whoa! Nothing. I could mark another condition. Reroll.
Could use your pride.
Shame.
Yeah, your shame. Sorry.
I think I can do that because I can sort of see a future version of Lawrence in this dude. It's like, man, I do not want to be what this dude is doing with himself, just getting high all day. And how old is this guy? He's obviously older than
Yeah, he's like 22, 23.
And like he just lives here. He doesn't like work or anything like that. Like we don't really know this guy, but he doesn't really have a good impression at this point. So I'm just like, I don't want to be this guy.
What is it?
No matter if he lost weight or whatever.
Yeah. What is it you most want to get from him?
What his real involvement is with the group, because he's saying he was near the tower where the waiters are doing their own receiving or broadcasting thing. So like, does he have some sort of involvement with them that he's not like willing? He's just realized, oh shit, they're close to figuring it out, then I'm kind of involved. It's like
he goes, look. That same day that Russ got taken, a couple of guys showed up here. I was asleep. They kicked the back lock in, and they came and they made it clear I was to forget about hearing any kind of broadcast, and they took my computer and they asked me if anybody else knew about it. And
guys like cops or?
No, they weren't cops. I don't know what they were.
suits.
Waiters?
They just looked like adult dudes, and I didn't see it, but they made it clear they had a gun, and I didn't ask questions. I don't know how they knew where I was. I don't know how they knew that I'd gotten this, but they grabbed my computer, grabbed a bunch of my shit, and hauled it out to their van and took off.
Was it a white van, do you know?
Yep. And now I want you guys to go because I don't want them coming back here.
Sure thing. We appreciate it. It was nice talking with you.
Kind of looks at you, Lawrence, because it was kind of your kind of stare down and reading of him that kind of pushed him to say this. And he's like, I gotta go. It's my turn. And he will head back into the room and rejoin the game in progress.
All right. We need to get back to our people.
Do we know that Sandra is kind of trying to sell people stuff at this point?
Only Lawrence probably saw. I mean,
He heard
Lawrence
it.
saw me trying to sell something to the smoker, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Lawrence is really make a big deal out of it. Yeah.
I was asking if that was group knowledge at this point or not.
I don't think so. I think just Lawrence has an inkling
Okay.
of that secret right now. Sandra, is there anything else you want to do before you head out from here?
No, I think that we got the information we wanted. I think I might turn to Lawrence and say, hey, should we push this guy a little bit more and see if he's got anything else?
Nah, it's not worth it.
Okay.
Same deal with Singh before. They've been spooked. So, like, we'd have to go real hard to do anything, I think.
And Sandra kind of pulls the CD that she borrowed out of her pocket and says, we could always threaten him. And then puts it back in her pocket and says, it's a gamble. Let's go ahead and go.
I mean, not right now.
Yeah. Maybe next time.
And you will hear them like razzing Mazzaros for taking so long. They figure he was just selling weed to high school kids. And the three of you will head out. He definitely looks uncomfortable about the whole interaction. And Kara's like, should I take you guys home now?
How do you guys feel about hitting that broadcast tower? I know it's getting late, but less likely there's going to be anybody out there to see us.
There's no guarantee that but every minute we do wait, they could close the net, so to speak. We'd also be going right to them. I don't know.
Do you think they'd actually be expecting that? Do you think they'd even think we'd do something like that?
I don't know if that. Yeah, they definitely wouldn't think that we know about the broadcast tower. That wouldn't be a thing.
Because I mean, I feel like they're getting ready to do something big. I mean, if they've got that CD, and there's like a broadcast tower that they've got access to, and they could be trying to broadcast that out to the entire town. Like, what happened to the stuff in your house could happen to everybody's stuff everywhere.
No, she's just nodding at you vehemently and says, I know. But I think Lawrence is clearly torn because he wants to get it home to his parents because he already knows he's in deep trouble with them. And any moment he stays out longer, it's just going to get worse. What's the time now? Be 10 o'clock?
Oh, it's probably 10:30 at this point.
Yeah, he's in deep shit. Shit.
Does the rest of the group know this?
Tina definitely does.
Because I mean, let's be blunt. I mean, you're the only one of us who has functional parents.
Yeah.
Nobody else's parents care. They probably don't even notice we're gone. So Tina's just like, listen, I got this. I got you covered. You know, when we drop you off, your parents aren't going to be mad. All you have to do is say, I lost track. We'll just go up to your door. I'll act like I'm giving you a kiss goodnight, and you walk in, and if they're up, you just say you lost track of time, and they're just going to be like, they're not even going to say anything because they're just going to be happy that like it looks like you had a date or something like that. They're just going to trust me on this one.
I think Lawrence just drops his hand and says, fine, whatever. Let's go.
And Kara's like, we're going to have to stop at a gas station so I can get a map.
We're also probably going to need some gas. And not just for your car. I mean, Sandra,
Wait, what?
do you know anything? Well, we got to shut this down somehow, right?
Wait. Are you asking me if I know how to burn down a building? I mean, what?
I mean, if any of us do...
Come on. I've never done anything like that before.
Look, I'm not saying you have. I'm just saying I don't think any of us even know how. Like, I mean, what do? You just like splash gasoline around a place and like toss a match at it like they do on TV or what?
Sounds like a plan. Let's do that.
Can I do an empathize
That's not
roll?
a plan. That's something I saw on TV. That's never a plan.
So you were saying there, Lawrence?
Can I just do like an empathize roll on Sandra? Just like I know Sandra's like a troublemaker, but like, has she done stuff like this before? Or
That's fair. Let's have you roll, and then you can put that question to her.
all right, so that would be 6 dice.
And is that something that I can assist with?
I
do
don't
have
think
a
so
point
in this case here.
Okay.
I think Lawrence is, since we're kind of at that PvP kind of thing.
Okay.
So 6. And there's nothing much writing on this either. No successes. So I
So
don't get any.
you can't tell. You can't get a read on her. There's that sort of
Cover. Sorry.
And Kara's like, well, I don't have anything to put gas in besides the car.
Well, I can probably figure out how to. You know me, I can always figure out how to do something. Like, we can always get like a soda or something like that inside and put gas in that.
Yeah, we should get several sodas and, glass bottles. Make sure they're glass, and, we'll all have a good soda and then fill it up with gas.
All right. So let's cut to the 7-Eleven where you've bought probably an 8-pack of soda in glass bottles, which they still have. Essentially Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, whatever. They used to have those. Had to put a little deposit money down for the bottles. And Kara will fill up the car with gas, and Tina, you're going to try and make some Molotovs here?
Molotov cocktails.
Okay.
Apparently so.
So, Tina, that is most assuredly a tinker roll.
So who's got cash?
I assume that Kara probably has some. What about Lawrence? Do you have money on you?
Not unless there was anything left over from getting the pizzas. But I do recall that Sandra got $30 in that's from the teacher's office.
I
From
did,
Mr. Gossamer's office.
but I dropped that off with my sister.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. The reason I asked is because we kind of need a garden hose and something like that.
Yeah, Kara probably
Not if we're putting it directly into the bottles.
We are not standing out here in the middle of public and putting gas into bottles. Come on. Yeah.
So Kara probably taps out the last of her cash, and looks a little annoyed. Tina, please roll.
All right. Now, everybody that's here tonight has 1 in Tinker. So,
Yes, I think you can get an extra die from your companions.
Yeah, I'll
all
help
right.
you.
So it's just 1. It's not 2.
Just one.
There is a 6.
There is a 6. So you don't set the car in the area on fire. You do get several of these bottles filled and get rags to the top of them, and the smell is abhorrent. It is that smell of gasoline, and you certainly don't want to put them in the trunk, so you got to kind of sit them there with somebody probably in the back seat, I assume.
Well, we did get that 8-pack, so we can put them in there.
Oh yeah, but you still don't want that to fall over or slosh
God.
around or splash or any of that kind of stuff.
And
So, yeah.
I'm assuming that we just had some rags around or something like that.
Yeah, I think that seems
Okay.
fair.
So there's at least something kind of blocking it, right? So
Yeah.
the smell isn't as intense as it otherwise
Oh
might.
no, because what's going to happen is those rags will catch
Wick
that
the-
smell
yeah.
and it wicks that out. So the interior of this car is going to smell like gasoline nearly immediately.
All right. We got to roll the windows down. And who wants to make sure that this doesn't spill over?
I'll do that.
Okay. I never thought I'd be making Molotov cocktails tonight, but hey, it's Friday in Ohio. What else are you going to do, I guess?
And Kara says, please don't spill those bottles. I mean, the car isn't great, but
it's a car.
And the combination of the smell of bleach in here plus the gasoline, I don't know. And so in a warm Ohio night, a little bit of humidity out, the four of you go driving out in the country between farm fields and stands of trees, and probably a couple of times you have to stop because there's a fenced off section of road that says, evacuation zone, no entry past this point. And you kind of ride along, and you have the windows down, so it gets cold with the wind whipping through here, and that fulsome smell of gas that is roiling through this place. But eventually, you actually had to kind of stop, and somebody has to get out and kind of move one of the barriers on one of these roads. And you actually have to drive a little ways into the evacuation zone to get to this thing, like he said. Lawrence, do you think you've ever crossed the border into these places? There are a bunch of them around town.
Yeah. Probably not. Like the only one is just the one that's near the town itself, near Zulu Gate. If we're looking at the map.
No, you're actually more heading down towards Knoxville.
Knoxville. Yeah, cool. So not really. No, I don't think so. This is all like really unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Not so it's dark.
Sandra, have you ever wandered into any of the evacuation zones?
Yeah, I've wandered in here to see if I couldn't scavenge anything whenever I was younger. So I think as we're driving, I tell Kara, knock off the lights, just drive with your fog lights.
What?
Well, I mean, would you rather the waiter's sauce in their van?
Look, I mean, there are deer out here and stuff. I don't want to hit something.
So
Dry
drive a
sauce?
little slower. Now look at
Peer-
Sandra as we say the same thing and say jinx.
Yeah, peer pressure.
She will take it, she will turn the headlights off, and it's dark out here when you do that. And turns the fog lights on and goes very slowly. And you'll go a ways in. You can see the tower now off in the distance. Kind of have to go down and then figure out which crossroad you go onto. You can see these are fields. This is Ohio. It would normally be corn or soybean fields here, but they've gone to seed, wild, overgrown. All of this sort of the regular lines that you would have, the kind of the squares and rectangles of farmland, is just overgrown and encroaching up onto the road. Like any of the edging that you might have and the ditches on the side are all filled up with tall grass and weeds. But you will get over closer to this tower. It's a big broadcast tower. It's got a kind of a concrete building next to it, small one. And in the distance, you would guess maybe 100, 200 yards, maybe a little bit further, you can see some lights and some buildings and a little fence. Like, that's clearly the waiter's area over there.
So, if you don't mind, Lowell, let's roll back just a little bit, and as
Absolutely.
we pull up towards where the tower is.
Uh-huh.
Sandra says, "Okay." She looks around and she finds like a little driveway that might have had a fence before,
Okay.
and she has Kara pull off into the weeds, but keep the car running so that you're our getaway guy, right? And then the three of us can kind of scoot on down where we can actually see the buildings on the other side.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
Getaway guy. I mean, Jesus, Sandra.
Says the person
wouldn't
that
you-
had to make Molotovs.
Yeah.
I
I was
mean,
like, I look at Tina and I'm
I
like,
thought you didn't know any of this stuff.
well, what do you expect? I've seen TV too, and I mean, it's not like we're going to set fire to the place and the guys come out and say thank you.
Well, okay. This is not what I was expecting to do tonight.
And I think we probably see the silhouettes of the three of you getting out of the car. Got the 8-pack of bottles, and begin crunching through the grass and road gravel, heading on over to the tower. Let's take our 5-minute break here, and then we will come back. Okay. So, night, April, a little bit cool now. Mosquitoes are probably just getting started, but of course, out here nothing's getting taken care of. So there's probably more standing pools of water in the area. Crickets out in the distance, and you three will walk along, crunch of gravel and grass under your feet. My question is, are you going to the broadcast tower, or are you going to go on and like see what's up with this compound?
I'll leave it entirely up to you guys. I have no idea. Lawrence is so out of his element and he doesn't even know what he's doing.
Well, it's not like Tina knows what she's doing here either.
So I think Sandra doesn't know what she's doing, but she heads off towards the encampment, and is just heading in that direction. And maybe someone stops her.
Hey, listen. If you're gonna go over there, that's cool, but I want to just like take a quick look around this tower, see if we can see anything, and then light it up. So, I mean, should we give you like some kind of sign or something, like a signal, or?
Well, let's not light it up until we see exactly what's going on. We don't want to, we don't want to burn anyone up in the tower, right?
Well, yeah.
And
I
these
mean,
guys, these guys can always get another tower. I'm sure that maybe they found another one out here or something. So it does no good to just burn down this tower if they just, go to another one.
I thought this one had like equipment in it and stuff that they could use. I mean, that's
sure.
the point of it. Like, get rid of the stuff they can use.
But that stuff can be replaced, maybe.
It'll cost you money. They'll have to steal it. It'll be noticeable.
Sure,
it's gonna slow them down and hurt them.
I'm not saying it's not a bad idea. It's a good idea, but maybe we should check out the guys first.
Wait, you said you weren't saying it was a bad. You said you weren't saying that it wasn't a bad idea. That means you think it's a bad idea.
No. What I'm saying is, we can burn this place down after we make sure nobody's in it, and after we make sure we get the feel for what's going on. I wouldn't burn it down beforehand.
I guess. I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing. It's like I thought this was a good idea, and now I have no idea.
And now it's real.
We are like 2 minutes away from committing serious crimes. Like it's hit Lawrence for real. Like you are like this close to doing dangerously terrible shit that will get you in massive trouble. Like felony arson, pretty much, to government property.
Although we could probably just like try to use the excuse. If we get caught, we can just use the excuse that we were trying to like have a campfire or something like that, and it got out of control. And this is the days before surveillance cameras at gas stations. So,
suppose. But we've prepared bottles of cocktails. What are we going to do with those? We're just going to like, put them over there. Just pretend it's just. Our fingerprints are all over this glass, by the way.
Doesn't the fire take care of that?
Probably not. I don't know. Maybe.
So if Lawrence voices this out loud, Sandra goes, "Will you wipe it off, dumbass?" And she kind of takes the corner of her shirt and wipes it off. And
so Lawrence,
when you do that, though, of course, now your shirt just stinks of gasoline.
Oh. Yeah. Lawrence looks at his hoodie and is like, I'm not doing that. I ain't doing that. No way.
God.
Let's just see what's going on.
We're such failures as criminals.
We're talking too far ahead. Let's just see what's going on.
So, Sandra, it sounds to me like you're kind of pushing to sneak up just to at least get an idea of what's going on with this place, right?
Yeah.
So, you are the person who has the best sneak of the group.
Okay.
So, let's have you roll sneak.
Okay.
Is there any way for me to help?
I don't think so. I think more people into it actually probably creates bigger problems.
Well, okay, fine.
Okay. So I'm going to roll. Oh, 2 6s.
2 6s. So you can make your way across this field, and you will find a a walked path that goes from the broadcast tower back to the compound. And when you get over to there, you can see there's a very basic fence. Like you could clamber over it, like low chain link fence. And there are several very prefab looking buildings, and maybe the farmhouse that they kind of set things up around. And you probably there's some other like an old barn and stables that you see there. So it's quite a few buildings, but it is now 11:30 on a Friday night, so it is pretty quiet here.
Any electricity?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can. They clearly have. Maybe they're on a grid. Maybe they have a generator. It's definitely got lights on in places. There's some lights on out here, but not much. It's pretty dark on the grounds.
Okay. So I kind of turn to Tina and I say, okay, I think there's a couple of options here. Do we burn it all down? Do we just burn down the tower? Do we try and make it look like an accident? What do you want?
I think we should try to make it look like an accident or something that just happened. Like, we got all these fields around us. Maybe we can kind of spray it, splatter gasoline around the fields and light the fields on fire, and that'll do it.
So what Sandra says, she looks up at where the electric cables are, and she says, well, faulty wiring is always an issue, especially in this old space. And if they've been messing with the machine cancer, something weird could happen. So she kind of uncorks one of the Molotov cocktails and says, we can just pour this down the wire, and that'll start from the wire, and maybe that'll look like there was a wiring issue. But we can douse the rest of the place with gasoline so it goes up quick.
Okay.
So I just want to be sure that I am clear on what is being said here. Just for my own edification, if I may.
Yeah.
You're suggesting that you take one of these half dozen Molotov cocktails in delightful 16-ounce heavy glass bottles, with rags that stink gasoline. You're gonna open one up and you're gonna pour it on where one of the electrical cables is connected, between a building.
Oh, I was thinking electrical cable connected to the tower.
To the tower. Well,
Yeah.
that's going to be way up.
What about connected to the generator? Assuming there is a generator.
Yeah, if you could find the generator, certainly you could.
Well, okay, so let's talk about this then, Lawrence. Are we talking about torching these guys? Because I don't feel comfortable torching these guys. I think I'm okay taking out the tower, but I don't think I want to torch these guys' house.
Look, I'm okay with arson. I'm not okay with murder.
Can't believe we've just all agreed that we're okay with arson. Okay.
But we have morals, Lawrence. We're not murderers.
Lawrence just looks at you like, you sure about that?
So the tower itself is one of those high television radio towers. Any electrical lines that are out here are probably those tall pylons where
Okay.
when you get near them, you're hearing the bzzz. And the more humid it is, the bigger the buzz. I don't know if you've ever been by those.
Yeah.
And that's probably the cables from that probably don't run like directly here. And it is probably about 150, 200 yards between the compound and there.
There's probably a breaker box or something like that on the outside of the tower. Something electrical.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it-
the inside that building, the little concrete building, yeah.
Okay. So that's just what I'm suggesting. I don't feel comfortable burning down the houses, but burning down the
And that
tower
was
might be okay.
my misunderstanding of what you were saying.
Oh no, I'm talking to Tina. I'm talking
Okay.
to Tina
Yeah.
and Lawrence.
And I'm good with that.
Okay.
All I wanted to burn down was the tower. I just wanted to make sure that they couldn't broadcast that signal anywhere. That's all.
Okay. So do we
Is
want
there
to
any way?
Go
Sorry. Is there any way to like see if there's another way to sabotage the tower? Something that we haven't noticed because we haven't been here. Like we've just got here, basically. What can we actually see? Is there anything that's like vulnerable to us?
Well, if you go back to the tower,
Yeah.
because right
Well,
now you're at the
Right. So
before we go back to the
fairly-
tower, you
Yeah.
can ask that question, Lawrence. But my question is, do we want to look around for rust or for pumpkin?
shit.
That's going to take another sneak roll, isn't it?
We may as well.
Well, it's whether or not it's worth it or not, right?
Well,
I mean, if they've held someone captive, that's clearly an obvious crime, right?
okay.
And rust would be more. Sorry.
Look, if we're going to do this, I think we need to split up. And I can start prepping the tower, and I can see if, I don't know, maybe there's something else I can see there. Like maybe I can see some exposed wires inside, and I can, like, I don't know, hot wire the tower or something like that to set it on fire or something instead of like torching it with gasoline or something like that.
Or just look around and see if there's something like there's a whole bunch of tapes that you could tear up, or maybe we don't have to do the whole tower, right?
Is it bad that I kind of want to burn the tower down?
Oh, Tina.
maybe a little.
Oh, Tina. Maybe we should have a talk after this. Because you're headed down a life of crime. Like I should talk.
Well, at least I'd have good company.
Okay. So yeah, why don't you and Lawrence go check out the well, one of you go check out the tower and see if there's anything you can do to mess with it.
I'll check out the tower because, well, you know, from all those raves and like hooking up all those techniques, turntables and everything like that, I have an idea of how stuff gets plugged in and put together, especially when it's dealing with like radio and stuff. So
I'll go see if I can find rust or pumpkin like in one of the buildings, like maybe there's a guard or a lock on one of the buildings.
So
Okay.
you and Lawrence are going to check out the compound. It's pretty easy to sneak around here. And Tina's going to go back to the tower. Correct?
And
Yeah.
I think Sandra looks at Lawrence.
Sounds
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We can save the dudes if they're here. Sure, why not?
I have but one question.
Oh, dear.
Who has the Molotov cocktails?
I think Sandra suggests that we put, if you want to take one, Tina, that's fine, but we put them like on the trail, like in the grass. So if we have to head out of here in a hurry, you know, we can just touch a match in their direction and something will light up and it'll cover us.
We can pray.
it'll stop them
Okay.
from following us.
Yeah. And it's kind of in between the tower and the buildings.
So it'll
That-
stop them from getting to the tower.
Yeah.
All right. let me
That's
take
perfectly
let me
fair.
take 2. That'll leave 6
Okay.
because we had the 8-pack. And you might want to take 1 or 2 as just in case you need a distraction. Like you could chuck it at some of the vans or something like that.
And I think Sandra goes, well, I think that I'll run fast. And then she looks over at Lawrence and she picks up one of the Molotov cocktails and hands it to Lawrence.
So Lawrence will like pull his hand inside his sleeve, and like
Okay.
put it around the thing like that. Fine.
All right. So let us start with Sandra doing the sneak.
Okay.
Relatively easy. So 1 success will cover you and Lawrence. And then Lawrence has a pretty good investigate. So we'll work from there.
Okay, so I'll do the sneak first.
Yeah.
Oh, I got 1 success.
And that is all that you need because they don't like have guards out here. They don't have dogs out here. Notable absence of animals around. And the lighting's not great. So you're able to move from building to building relatively easily. Lawrence,
Yes.
let me
Am I
have you. Yes.
doing an investigate roll
Yeah.
now? Am I being helped by
If I can help, I
Yep.
will.
Yep. You can get an extra die for that.
Oh, wait. 6 dice. Come on, big money. 1 success.
1 success. So you will kind of walk, and you can see they've got 2 vans. You guess at the main house, just by kind of looking at it, like it must be where people live. You're guessing, just judging by this place, this isn't a big group. This is maybe a dozen and a half people at most. Just off the top of your head.
Do we see any vans?
Yeah, you see two of the 2 vans. Yeah,
Only 2? Cool.
only 2. You will see that there are 2 buildings that seem a little unusual. Yes.
Brainwave. Let's torch the vans.
I think Sandra sees Lawrence head over towards the vans and like grabs him by the back of the hoodie. It's like, what are you doing?
We can make their lives a lot harder just by dealing with those vans.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. It's fine.
So there are 2 buildings that look unusual. One is a smaller building, kind of like more concrete, kind of like a big concrete shed out back that looks like it's a little bit reinforced. And you definitely get kind of a toilet smell from that place, even though it's locked up. The other thing is sort of towards the back is one of these prefab buildings that's like more solid than the others. And you can hear a generator going in there. It doesn't seem like it's the generator for the rest of the place because there isn't wiring running out from there. But you're definitely hearing a generator and a hum, and this place is also locked much more securely.
And they're both locked from the outside.
Yes. I'm going to cut from that piece of info, and Lawrence getting stopped from going and torching the vans immediately. Let's come back to you, Tina. Tina, you can walk back to the tower. Get back to there. Again, big tower. You got that radio tower buzz. And there is a concrete building next to it. there's clearly wires and stuff that run from that building to the tower and back and forth.
Okay.
There is a door on that building that is locked.
Okay. Tinker roll time, right?
Yeah, let's see how whether you can do it or whether you have to deal some damage to do it.
Got a 6.
Okay, so you'll pop this, and as soon as you open this up, I don't know if you have ever been around machines that generate a lot of electricity.
A little bit.
Okay.
Usually college plants and such.
Yeah, this is like that. Okay. And it's not well taken care of. Like there's some standing water and shit in here. And it's got that hum and crackle like everything has a charge to it. And yeah, this is all of the breakers and boxes and electrical transformers are all in here in this thing. And sort of when you cross the threshold, your hair probably starts to
stand up a little bit.
Yeah. It feels really dangerous. Like that's your feeling is this is a bad and dangerous place.
Do I see anything like tapes or anything that looks like a CD player or reel-to-reel machines or anything that look like it can broadcast a signal?
No, it looks like this is the relay tower. Like the signal comes from the stations or whatever. They broadcast it to here, and this is the relay amplifier. So that's what all of these things is. They're tuned to various things, and are it's a big signal booster.
Okay. So looking at this, do I get the impression that it will burn and that will take care of this issue and take this tower out of commission?
If you were to put a couple of Molotovs in here and light them, yeah, that would cause this building to catch fire. And it would go up, and that would certainly take this tower out of commission.
Okay. Do I see anything else that is in any way noteworthy or
Let's have you roll investigate.
All righty, and then so that's 4 dice. Did not succeed.
Can you?
I'll take a condition.
Okay.
Sure.
What condition do you want to take?
Let's see. This is after I've already had pizza. So I'm going to say, from all the excitement, I'm probably tired from the night before. I'm going to say sleepless. Reroll.
Let's reroll.
Got a success.
Got a success. So it definitely looks to you like you can confirm here, as you kind of look like people have been in here recently, and they have definitely adjusted and set the tunings. Like they've set the receiver to pick up whatever band they're sending from the compound to here and use it to amplify. Okay. So you'll definitely get confirmation that is what's going on.
All right.
Does that seem fair?
Yeah, that's fair. So basically, I've got confirmation that they're getting ready to do something. It's all set up to do it.
Yeah.
And we can stop it. Okay.
Potentially. Yes. So, Lawrence, Sandra, what do you want to do?
So I think Sandra leans real close to Lawrence, and you can kind of smell that cigarette stink off of her breath. And she says, "Watch and make sure no one comes." And she kind of walks Lawrence over to the generator building.
Okay.
the one that's making a lot of noise.
Yes.
And she pulls out her lock picks and she goes to pick the lock.
So I'm keeping a lookout.
Have you ever seen the lockpicks that she has, Lawrence?
No. Do I see these, or do you ask me to turn around and stay watch so I don't actually see them?
Yeah. So I think I like the idea that, I say, you keep watch and tell me if anyone comes. And I kind of lean down and I reach in my jacket pocket and I pull out these lockpicks. And then Sandra looks up at Lawrence and says, "Watch." So I think you definitely see them. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
So
What are they like? Like what do I actually see in terms of your lockpicks? Is it like a whole set, like you've got, or is it just the two basic tools where you're just gonna?
I think it's a whole set. It's one of those things that you used to, back then you used to get out of the back of a army surplus kind of catalog.
Yeah.
And it's like in a little black case, so you kind of flip it open. But this black case looks like something you get at Walmart. It's kind of cheap. Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Okay. So that is Tinker with your 2 extra dice.
Okay. Let's see what that. Oh, okay. I got 1 success.
So yeah, you will get this lock popped open, and you kind of can get that open. Do you want to go in?
Oh yeah.
Okay. There's that. You pull the door open, and you realize that there's some lighting in this thing. It's not a dark room that you're going into. And you'll kind of step in, and you can see that there are dozens and dozens and dozens of VCRs, toasters, clock radios, monitors, TVs, microwaves, some you might even recognize, that are stacked along the walls around the outside here. All of them bulging with the machine cancer. And unlike where you've been before, where you've seen the machine cancers, they have kind of formed into a mass that certainly strikes a chord with you, Sandra. But that's not the worst part. So tell me, Tina, what are you doing?
I think right now I'm waiting to see them coming back before I do anything to draw attention, because they're going to need to come back down pretty much the same way they went in, and that's going to come be past the radio tower, isn't it?
Yeah, you get to come past.
And then the radio tower is between us and the car.
Yeah.
So if I start anything up now, that's going to draw attention, and it's going to basically screw up their getaway plan.
So you hold, kind of get things set, kind of got that crackle around here, waiting.
I mean, the only thing I can think of to do is to pop my glow sticks and do another investigate to see if I can see anything else.
The investigate has probably already been done on this spot.
Is there any chance I could detect anything weird using Tinker? See any kind of unusual electronic or wiring issues, or?
No, because Tinker is sort of the do it skill rather than the investigate skill.
Okay.
But we'll come to that when you go to blow things up. Lawrence, you hear the creak, and you see Sandra step in. Are you staying out here, or are you going to follow her in? What's your goal?
I think I will follow him.
Then you'll kind of step, and you probably bump into Sandra because she's gone stock still. Because what you'll see in the middle of this room, sort of hooked up to wires and things, is this, maybe it was a person at one point, and it looks like they had some prosthetics or implants or things like that that they've done to themselves, some body modifications. And those all look horrible because you can see the bits of the machine cancer like boiled out from under the seams and such. And it's kind of standing there. You hear it's making this sound, and you will recognize the sound is the sound that you heard on the disc. And when you kind of bump against Sandra, it's there, and its head starts to loll up. What do you do, Lawrence?
Well, I think Lawrence is going to freak out and throw the Molotov at this thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Killing it with fire.
All right. I'm going
Not
to...
lit, though. Isn't
Yeah.
it? So I'll light it first.
All right. I'm going to come to that in a second. Sandra, you realize this is what you've seen in your nightmares at the heart of it.
So I think Sandra, she freezes and she goes, into that panicked, just frozen, and then clumsily kind of falls on her ass and starts to like push back into Lawrence, just trying to wheel backwards.
And Lawrence, you want to light this and throw it?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a very dangerous object, a little hard to use because you got gasoline all over you guys. Stuff
And you just got bumped into.
just get bumped into. I would like you to roll. I'm going to use Tinker for this, if that's okay.
Sure. That's fine.
So let's have you roll that.
Okay. Is it fair to invoke the bonus die from my hoodie because I am holding it in my hand? I
like it. You have focused in on the hoodie, so I will definitely give you that.
All right, so that is base of 6 -1 because I am still thirsty. So fingers crossed. Nope. So I will. I would definitely mark another condition and reroll. I'll mark sleepless because it's getting late and we're already like under high stress. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm rolling all of the dice that I had previously, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I missed one, so I will reroll that. Hopefully that comes up with a 6. It does not. Okay. Well, that's it then. I've already marked shame this session.
Yeah. So you go to throw this, but your reflex is like, and you don't light it, and you just throw it.
Oh, great.
Jesus Christ.
It kind of hits, and these are thick Coke bottle glass, and it kind of rolls along the floor. And this thing, that sound, that keening sound that it made before, starts getting louder. Sandra, what do you do?
I back out. I think I grab Lawrence and yank him out, and I close that door.
Okay. And yeah, that sound is getting louder and kind of starting to carry a little bit. Since Tina's waiting on you, what do you two do?
So I think Sandra turns to run and then looks over at that other building. Lawrence, what do you want to do?
Are you asking Lawrence that?
Yeah.
Or Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What you only now just to refresh my memory, you only gave me the one Molotov before, right?
I thought you said you took two, one in each hand, but maybe you didn't.
I don't recall.
That's entirely up to you. Lawrence, do you have one or two?
I think it makes more sense for me to only have had one.
Okay.
And Sandra, you didn't take one, did you?
No.
At all? No.
No.
You'd have to run in and light it on the floor.
I was lighting it. I need to actually light it.
I mean, if you don't, they're going to find it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So Lawrence, Sandra starts to pull you out and is kind of gesturing towards the other building. What do you do?
So I'm gonna, as I'm being pulled out, I will drop to the ground and hopefully hold out the lighter in one hand and see if I can catch it on the ground.
Okay.
Is there like a trail of gasoline coming from the bottle at this point or anything like that?
That's an interesting
It's
idea.
sprayed all around, I'm sure.
So you go to get in to do that. Sandra, it looks like Lawrence is going to try to desperately light this up. What do you want to do? You go into the building, trying to cover him. What do you think?
Just real quick, can you describe this building to me again?
The smaller one?
Yeah, it was the one that has all the machine cancer things in it.
Big. It's one of those prefab buildings, so probably plastic and metal sort of outside construction. Inside, a couple of lights, like a big garage.
But it's not like a concrete building that I think you described the other one was.
Nope.
So I think I yank on, I try to yank Lawrence out, and where I get his attention, I point at the van and say,
Right.
hit it.
Right.
Yeah.
Drive the van into it?
Yeah.
You're suggesting me to ram the building? Okay.
I am. Yeah.
Can you start the car?
Well, you've got a higher. Well,
So let me tell you,
case, I pull you out.
Situation. Let's stop. Let's pause here and let me get the foundation situation. So you've thrown this bottle. It's kind of rolled away. So you've got that trail of gasoline, and this thing is keening and it's getting louder.
Yeah.
And you kind of move to go to do that, and Sandra's kind of pulling to stop you. And you realize that this is things are changing here rapidly.
Right.
So if we close the door, someone will still hear it.
Yeah, you've woken this thing up apparently.
Ooh. Yeah.
So Sandra's not going back in that building. You're welcome to, Lawrence, but Sandra's not going back.
Yeah. So Lawrence is gonna think to himself and yank off his hoodie and light that on fire and throw it into the room because it's been sprayed with gasoline. It stinks as much as anything else. He's gonna pull that off and like try and get a bit of it lit, at least a little bit, and then throw that into the room.
If you burn your sacred iconic hoodie,
that's it.
Tell me what that looks like. That's a sacrifice. I think that is fair. So tell me what that looks like here.
So Sandra is just like pulling on me to get away, and I'm just like, no, run. Just tell her to run. And I just yank it off in one big pull. And I'll dangle it from the wrist because that's where it would have spread onto me from holding the gloves, and I'll just we'll dangle that down and then I'll just light it up.
And this thing, this thing has been keening, and it realizes what you're doing, and it there's a hiccup in its thing as you throw that.
Yeah,
all of that gasoline that you spilled on it catches. And then it'll hit that stream of gasoline that over to that Coke bottle, and there'll be that. And this thing looks down because the Coke bottle is right by it, and it will explode. Sandra, you'll feel that of heat from that room. It's not like a forceful explosion, but it is enough to buffer you back a bit. What do you want to do?
Sandra runs to the other building.
Okay. Yeah. You can run over to it. You see lights are coming on in the main house.
Yeah.
And you want to try and.
So if I try to brute force the lock, which would be the fastest thing,
That'd be body plus force.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that because it's just not going to be a short thing. So I think this is just pick up a rock and try and bash the lock.
Let's have you roll.
Okay. 2 6s.
So, boom, you will find like there's a brick, like there's a brick here, and you will grab that and you will bring that down on this thing and crack this lock off and pull this door open, and you will see that there are a couple of people in here in effectively cells. This door is locked. They've got like a simple a door that they can't open from the inside, and you will see DJ Pumpkin and DJ Rust.
And I think I run over and can I open the door or is it locked?
Yeah, no, they can open it from the outside here.
So I open the cells and say, run, follow us, and I run out.
Tina.
Yes.
Kind of waiting impatiently, and kind of in that cycle. Stars are pretty out here. Not a lot of light pollution. Nice. Pretty
Especially
clear.
not back then.
Yeah. And you kind of looking around, and then you'll hear
I'll see the glow.
See a little bit of a glow from one of those buildings over there for a second. And in the distance, you can start to see as the lights on the main house start to come on.
Okay.
What do you do?
How far away did we stash the Molotovs for the getaway?
So about halfway along, and we said about 150 yards to about 75 yards up.
I'm going to head over there.
Okay.
So that I can start getting things ready, like spreading some gasoline around.
It's a good idea because the ground and grass here is wet, so it'll catch, but it won't burn too much. So by spreading it around, you'll probably get a better barrier break here.
Yeah.
Okay. So got a couple of those. You're working to get that set. I don't even think that's a roll. Lawrence kind of got the air knocked out of you, and this room is going up. It looks like the thing, like when it got hit with the flamethrower, and you'll hear that kind of screeching from it and from all of the machines around the outside, like their own voice as well. Like at first it was just it's keening, but now it's a chorus. And you see Sandra smack the lock off that, rush in, and she's back out in a moment with two bedraggled looking DJs, parachute pants and everything. They are not prepared for running outside.
No. Right. I'll just say, let's book it. Let's go. And just start running.
Okay. You will run over to where they are and kind of grab them and start moving. And you'll see people coming out of the house. They've got flashlights. Some of them are, just pulling on shirts and things like that. And they can see smoke pouring out of that building. And they don't know exactly who you are, but they can see some silhouettes of people, as things are starting to burn here, running away. Sandra, Um, I think you have the higher move score of the two.
Mhm.
So I'm going to let you roll that
Okay.
because these adults, some of them are going to pursue you on foot. A lot of them are trying to put that fire out, but some of them are trying to come after you.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
So that's just my body score, correct?
That is just your body.
Okay. I rolled a 6.
So kind of grab onto Lawrence. You've got these people and you are, hop that chain link fence and you're running through these fields. Kind of the camera is doing the shaky cam thing as you are running along. Tina, you now see more lights. Now you see that one building seems to have caught fire. And you will see just a little bit of the moonlight here. Sandra and Lawrence running towards you. And they have a very scared, terrified looking DJ Pumpkin and DJ Rust. What do you want to do?
Light a Molotov. Get ready.
Okay.
Because I mean, the second they're passed, this stuff's got to go up.
Sure. I would like you to roll Tinker to set this trap up.
All right. Now, I have an advance that I can claim, correct?
Yeah, I think you have
It's 8 XP here, and it's
you
5
can
in
spend
advance, right?
5 and raise something up. You want to raise up your Tinker?
Can I raise up a main stat or only
Nope.
a skill?
Stats will never be raised.
Okay. Yeah, I want to raise my Tinker score to 4.
Okay.
And I will knock my XP down to 3 for that. All right, and I have one condition. So can I crack my glow sticks here to make sure that I can see things and have a better chance of getting it lit correctly?
That is very smart given how dark it is and that you're fumbling around with these things that you stashed off to the side. So yeah.
All right. I'm going to crack a glow stick because ravers always have 2, 1 for each hand. I wish I didn't know that from experience. I really did. So let's see. So that's a 6 plus, so that's 8 dice, correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Let's see what we got. Well, Jesus, that turned into a nightmare.
No 6s?
1 6.
1 6.
Way over at the far end.
So they come stumbling past you, and you can see, as they've gotten to you, that you can see some adults, have gotten over that a chain link fence, and you will light it up, and essentially this wall of flame will along, creating a barrier of fire and smoke that obscures you from them.
Okay. So now I'm going to run back to the substate, to the relay tower, because that's got to go up too.
So if Tina's running back to the tower, what are you, Lawrence, and Sandra doing?
Oh, I'm running down to the car.
Okay.
Same. Yeah.
Okay. So the two of you are dragging these guys along. So Tina, think we have to have you make a roll to see if you can do this, get it set, not injure yourself, and do it necessarily before they make it around that fire and come this way.
Okay. So I can't use my glow sticks again, or can I use them again?
Unfortunately for me as a GM, you can use the glow sticks whenever they are appropriate.
Okay. Hold on one moment here. God, I'm making a mess of this. All right, so another 8 dice, I guess. Would have been handy to have a 9th die, but Wow. The number of the beast.
Wow.
First.
3 successes.
That's wow. Respect.
I imagine that it's, as much as anything, you kind of skidding, lighting, and throwing the last Molotov into the building, which will, and immediately catch with the ones that you set up in there.
I mean, with 3 6s, could we just like have a nice explosion to go?
Oh yeah, that building will catch fire and whoosh, flames will shoot out that door. And have you ever seen electrical fire?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's that big green flame that catches, and of course that flame will kind of shoot up to the tower itself. And there's that ozone smell that you get with an electrical fire, and your hair stands up, feel that singe of heat, and you will book for the car.
Probably thinking all the while that the green flame looks a lot like the glow from the glow stick.
Yeah. Kara has pulled out and has kind of tried to spin around the car in like a bootlegger reverse, or trying to get it. She's not that great a driver, but she's got it in position, and she is running. And you guys can jump into the car, pack these DJs in with you, and the DJ Russ is like, oh man, oh my god, thank you guys. Oh my god, it smells like gasoline in here. Oh my god. And Tina, we will see you running for the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And any chance they would have of seeing who this was, of being able to identify you, is obliterated as that building goes up and you get that flash and that flame. And even as you can see the fire burning in that compound over there, and you will start to see the tower itself bend, and it looks like it's actually going to come down.
Kara, drive.
Gravel spits out, and you will hightail it back to town.
After a few seconds of catching my breath, I turn to Rust and say, you are never charging me to get into one of your shows again.
Yeah, whatever.
Them either.
And I think Sandra is in the back seat between the 2 DJs and kind of has her knees tucked up and is kind of rocking a little bit.
Yeah. So you get Rust and Pumpkin back to their houses. Let's do a home scene, shall we? Let's start with Tina. Tina,
we need to start with Lawrence to get him home to his parents, because they're going to.
I am saving him for last.
Oh no!
But I'm supposed to be going up to the door with him.
Oh, are you going to do that whole thing?
Yeah, that was the plan. That's how we were going to keep him out of trouble.
This is like, we're now like,
we're like
2:30 in the morning.
That's not doable. That's so out of the thing. I'm happy going last. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. I will ask you to drop me off two streets away at least, if not a bit more. Yeah.
So I think that if it's okay if you guys have this discussion in the car about it's way too late for you to pretend to be a girlfriend or anything like that, I think Sandra kind of comes to and says, you idiots, we had car trouble. We stink like gas. We had car trouble. Just tell your parents you had car trouble. It'll be okay.
So
that's really brilliant, Sandra. That's good.
You act like you've never lied before.
Not much.
I'm just not going to say anything.
Tina, you will get home smelling like gasoline, having extracted a promise of free shows from DJ Rust.
Free
and-
shows for life.
Yeah. And you will come in, and you see your dad's on the recliner. He's got Night Flight from the USA Network up, running that late night, overnight programming.
Tiny bit anachronistic.
Yeah,
By then it was at USA Up All Night.
that's
Night
right.
Flight
It is USA
stopped
Up All
around
Night.
89.
That's right. Thank you. And he kind of wakes up, and he's like, "Oh, what time is it?"
It's late, Dad. Go back to sleep.
Hey, we should talk in the morning.
Okay. About
Your mom.
I
Oh
think
my gosh, you smell like gasoline.
I think we should talk about that right now. And yeah, I smell like gas. Car and I went out and we had car trouble.
You go get cleaned up. We'll talk about that in the morning, okay?
But it's about Mom. I want to know right now.
It'll keep, and I will tell you in the morning.
Fine, whatever, Dad.
And yeah, you go back up to your room. These clothes are ruined. Do you still keep them, or do you throw them out?
I think I'm going to stash them in a plastic bag and get rid of them someplace that is not my house.
That's a good call.
There's no clothes smelling of gasoline sitting
And burning and
Yeah.
smoke.
and all the other stuff is sitting in the trash in front of the house.
Fair enough. Do you think you sleep soundly? Are you exhausted, or is it more restless for you?
I'm exhausted, but I doubt it. I'm sleeping good after that. I mean, I'm probably still keyed up on adrenaline. Stressed. I mean, I just met my DJ hero and was part of rescuing him. So I'm probably at least a little bit from that. So no, I'm pretty sure it's trash sleep, if there's any.
That seems fair. Sandra, what do you do? Do you go home?
Great. I do not go home. I think I have them drop me off as if I'm going home, and I grab my backpack, and I kind of head out kind of towards the, apartment where we live. And as soon as those guys drive off, I turn around and I go back where oh shit. I stashed the CD in an arcade, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I was like, I'm going to go find wherever I put the CD and I'm going to get rid of that tonight. But I can't get to it tonight because it's locked up and I don't feel like breaking and entering in an arcade where they're much more likely to have alarms. So yes, I do go home. Yeah.
Okay. So you will go home. What is still sticking with you from what you saw?
So I feel like I know it's just my imagination, but I feel like I can feel the clamminess on me from all of the machine cancer. Like it's actually touched me. I don't think it got close enough to touch me, but I
No.
feel like it is. And I'm sure it's just the sweat and the gasoline and all of that. So I think, I'm, going into the apartment, going to the bathroom, and just, showering and trying to scrub everything off.
As you're getting up towards your apartment.
Okay.
You kind of stop and you look up and you'll see in one of the trees nearby, maybe you get that brief glint of animal eyes kind of watching you. Not sure if it's a cat, a raccoon, or what.
And I think when she sees that, she kind of, it spooks her. And she like, stares and backs up, kind of wide-eyed at that tree until she can't see anything anymore.
And then you kind of slip upstairs. The house is asleep. It's late. You come in. There's no one up waiting for you because you're in whatever hours you want to be. They come and go. It's probably not too long before one of them is going to get up and go on to one of their shifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do?
So, like I said, I get in and I basically, I think I've got clothes in my backpack. So
Yeah.
I go out around back and I toss my clothes that are just gasoline soaked into the dumpster and then head upstairs to try and clean up as best I can.
Yeah. And you can kind of wash and get yourself ready. Probably by the time you're finishing off that cycle. Who do you think it is that has this super early shift? Is it your mom or your dad?
So I think it's actually my dad, and he's going down to try and do day labor, at one of the places, at dawn.
Yeah. And he's gotten up and he's like, hey, honey, how you doing?
And I was like, rough night. I had, I had some nightmares. So, and
I know you're not going to want to hear this, but you kind of hurt your mom.
Oh, shit.
And he opens up the fridge and you can see that there's a cake with the frosting on it and not great decoration. Your mom clearly spent time doing up the little things on it, and you can see that there are candles on there.
I just didn't want anyone to make a big deal about me. I mean, so.
It is. No, I know. I get you're in high school, but it's not just about you. Your mom needs to know. I shouldn't. I don't have the right to tell you what to do, but
I'll talk to her whenever she gets up.
Okay.
Sorry, Dad.
It's okay. And he says, I'll see what I can get today, and I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that you can notice as I kind of step into the light where the fridge is, that I've used that like lava soap, the really harsh stuff. So there's like it's the arms and the face are kind of red from all the scrubbing.
And your dad heads out, grabs a lunchbox and heads downstairs.
Yeah.
Lawrence, couple blocks away from your house.
Oh, jeez. Yep. So Lawrence is he's in an interesting mind state right now. He's simultaneously dreading the experience he's about to go through, but also is like extremely pumped up on this adrenaline rush, I suppose, that he would have just gone through. And like, yeah, Lawrence is definitely feeling something. Lawrence definitely doesn't feel the way he did yesterday or the day before or anything like that. He feels strangely in control of himself. And he's pretty cold, though, I'm sure. So he's just going to keep walking up to his parents' house.
Probably
I don't know.
your breath by that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty chilly. And like Lawrence, I never described what Lawrence was under his hoodie, but I think he's only really wearing like a tank top or a singlet or something. So like it's really out of character to see him not wearing the hoodie at all. So yeah, I think he's just backpack on over his shoulder and just walks up to the front door. Are the lights on?
There is definitely a light on in the front room.
Yep. He'll go up to the front door, try the door. Is it locked or?
You probably have to use your keys.
Yeah. So we'll do that. Unlock the door.
Okay. And come in and step, and you see your dad. Pretty easygoing guy. Been pretty good with you. And he is seated there. And you have never seen this look on his face.
No.
Like, you've never seen him, like, angry. And not just angry, but an angry that's had a couple of hours to stew.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And he says, "Where the hell have you been?"
Okay. And Lawrence will go into. I think Lawrence has been coming up with a bit of a fiction along the lines of like there was car trip. Like when I was walking Tina back to Tina's house, we saw Kara on the way. Kara has a new car. Kara offered to drive us. Things got a little. We got a little distracted. I'm just reading chat. We got a little distracted, and it was car trouble getting back as we were trying to drop off, drop Tina back off home. We got it working and everything, but there was some sort of problem with the Bowser at the pump, and we got gasoline all over my clothes. And I think Lawrence just sort of lets it lie and says, "That's what happened, Dad."
2:30 in the morning. We were robbed yesterday. And you go out with your friend to take her home, and you don't come back. And your mom on the phone with the police out there looking for you right now. She finally went to bed about an hour ago. Just all you had to do was call. Just one phone call.
So I think Lawrence is going to do something out of character for him and just sort of like not break eye contact with his dad and just sort of like, yeah, sorry about that.
And that's not what he
wants
or wanted. And he's like, "You are grounded until the end of the school year. You come straight home from school. You do your shifts at the store. You stay in on the weekends. That is how this is going to go." Get yourself cleaned up.
Okay. And
he will. And I think that's where we're going to stop for tonight. On that note, we'll come up. We will do I have a little mini mystery that we will do with some personal scenes next time, slightly unrelated to what you just did, but we'll do that for that. But I do want to give out XP, if I may. And I have to look that up because it's slightly different in Things from the Flood. I hope those were okay end scenes for you.
Yeah.
Didn't want to be too mean.
Well, it would be out of character for Lawrence's dad too, right? He would
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? He would be more confused.
He
As well
definitely had a very long day.
Yeah.
Okay, and where is that? Change. Okay, so here are the experience point questions for you. You get 1 XP for participating in the session. Next one is, did your problem or your relationships get you into trouble? Tina?
I think they kind of might have. Yeah,
Yep.
they might have done.
Yeah. Sandra?
Yep.
And Lawrence?
No, not at all. No, not one bit. Yeah. Right, that's 2. Okay.
That's 2. No one was broken, so that would and no one was forced to take a scar, so that isn't anything. Did you put yourself in harm's way to resolve the mystery? I think we can say that across the board for everyone. So that is a 3rd point. And then, did you learn something new?
Heck yes.
Yeah. So that's 4 points for everyone.
Nothing about the shames or anything like that?
No, it does it a little bit different than Tails does.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
No worries.
I enjoyed the struggle and the Molotov cocktails. That was unexpected. I like where you guys went with that.
It was loads of fun.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I was a little concerned there, kind of in the middle, where it was, we're not going to burn down the people's house, right? Yeah.
Awesome.
And then I like how everyone's character also got into it with the, all of a sudden Lawrence wants to steal the car, and I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah, the moral center of the group shifted throughout the scenes tonight. So
yeah.
It's good.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
Absolutely.
I mean, and Sandra turned out to be the voice of reason.
Yes. I will talk with everybody next week, and we'll do the final session of this. So thank you all very much. And I'm going to stop the broadcast. Yeah.
Be well.